Jay-Z, "You're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it." Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to save you.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
At that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe? What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy before I... He's not identifying with the transition and difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay-Z?
It's like this, like...
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
like,
I hate you, man. And we here together, and we're going to keep staying together. We getting tighter.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm going to be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Jay-Z is facing mounting scrutiny as reports circulate, suggesting that alleged private exchanges with Diddy may have surfaced, triggering widespread online reaction and intense debate. The situation has pushed Jay-Z into a high-pressure spotlight, fueled by years of speculation surrounding his proximity to influential figures and past controversies that critics now feel deserve renewed attention. As these claims gain traction, public conversations are reigniting, old narratives are being reassessed, and momentum is building rapidly, forming a wave of pressure that could test the strength of Jay-Z's reputation, influence, and long-standing legacy.
Aided and abetted, or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside the...
In earlier interviews, 50 Cent firmly stated that he never embedded himself within Diddy's inner circle, noting that certain offers and atmospheres immediately set off warning signs and led him to draw a clear line early on. That deliberate distance, he explains, is what allows him to speak freely and without hesitation now. When allegations later emerged, 50 clarified that he learned about them the same way everyone else did through public reporting, and while the claims were undeniably serious, he made it clear that the revelations didn't surprise him, reinforcing his belief that his instincts to stay separate were justified from the start.
Jaguar Wright explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that get them in the end.
As the investigation widened, attention increasingly shifted toward Jay-Z, with growing public curiosity around his silence as developments tied to Diddy continued to unfold. That reserved stance only deepened suspicion, prompting some observers to speculate that his team may have been aware of his name circulating in civil discussions and was moving quickly to shape the narrative. Others argued that even in the absence of formal action, reputational consequences were already setting in. While social media accelerated the pressure, spreading rumors, magnifying assumptions, and turning speculation into a fast-moving force that made the fallout feel swift, intense, and difficult to contain.
Exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her art claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to public.
Industry insiders warn that a single investigation can set off a chain reaction, affecting not just Diddy but anyone perceived as closely connected to him, which is why many view 50's documentary as especially impactful. Instead of singling out one figure, it frames a broader examination of how influence operated behind closed doors, who may have known what, and how accountability can quickly spread once scrutiny begins. Commentators have also questioned how Diddy remained protected for so long, pointing to powerful alliances and tightly managed narratives that may have softened the impact of ongoing rumors. Heightening the tension, unconfirmed reports suggest Diddy could be cooperating with authorities to improve his position, a move that, if accurate, might involve sharing information about others in his orbit, sending ripples of concern across the industry.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, I know that. You and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby. While he was married to Beyonce. Was it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
With the documentary now out, it's clear this story isn't confined to the past, it's actively shaping what comes next. Each new detail tightens the focus on those who remained silent, placing Jay-Z more firmly at the center of the discussion. The scrutiny hits harder because his decades-long history with Diddy makes claims of distance difficult for critics to accept. That tension escalated when Gene Deal openly challenged statements from Jay-Z's legal team, arguing that the narrative didn't align with what many insiders had long observed. As more voices emerge and timelines are re-examined, the pressure continues to intensify, turning old associations into unresolved questions that refuse to fade.
They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is, and you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them, but they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, ass. I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pocket's 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was gonna knock out.
From Gene's point of view, the natural ease between Jay-Z and Diddy spoke louder than any public statement. He referenced a moment at an Atlanta show where Diddy brought Jay-Z on stage, and their effortless chemistry immediately stood out to the crowd, a clip later kept in circulation after 50 Cent resurfaced it online. Gene clarified that his comments weren't driven by bias, but by what he witnessed, recalling a past situation where tension arose, and Jay-Z later seemed to move on without acknowledgement. He described this as typical behavior among powerful figures who navigate conflict, create friction, and then carry on untouched, operating in a world far removed from everyday realities.
That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating a in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mama and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years. Now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim, and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats.
Dame Dash, once one of Jay-Z's closest partners, recently addressed the serious claims surrounding him, emphasizing that what stood out most wasn't only the allegations, but the sheer force of the public response. Dame noted that he had never seen Jay-Z face this level of examination before, explaining that years of dominance and influence had long placed him beyond reach, especially within mainstream media circles. That perception, he suggested, is now shifting, as the protective barrier appears to be weakening, and Jay-Z is being exposed to a level of scrutiny rarely directed at figures of his stature, marking a clear turning point in how power, reputation, and accountability collide under an unforgiving spotlight.
It's just odd to see him in that, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media, like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him, but like, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne. Because, those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like, why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. You're not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story.
What struck Dame most was seeing Jay-Z in a role he almost never occupies on the defensive and under sustained pressure, a position rarely associated with him outside a handful of moments across his long career. For decades, Jay-Z has largely avoided having to publicly explain himself, which makes the current level of scrutiny especially notable. At the same time, questions have surfaced about why 50 Cent appears so driven to challenge him, suggesting the situation runs deeper than any single association. Tony Yayo added context, explaining that long-standing tension between 50 and Jay-Z is rooted in years of rivalry and unresolved questions of loyalty. Hip-hop has always thrived on competition, where clashes are inevitable, but growth can still emerge. As Yayo pointed out by referencing a recent performance where 50 shared the stage with Dr. Dre and Cameron, signaling past issues being set aside. Cameron himself has remarked that Jay-Z often prioritizes business over culture, a view Yayo echoed, noting that Jay-Z consistently shows up for major corporate moments while frequently missing hip-hop events that hold cultural weight for artists like 50, fueling perceptions of imbalance and leaving lingering questions about where his true priorities lie.
He didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when do you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen him get. I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, "Why'd you say that?" He was like, "I had to." You know, like he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know, until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna say?
Yayo pointed to a defining contrast between Jay-Z and 50 Cent: accessibility. While Jay-Z moves within elite circles and maintains clear distance, 50, despite holding comparable influence, remains visible, grounded, and openly loyal to the people who helped elevate him. Yayo emphasized that success should never erase gratitude or connection to one's roots. A moment that stayed with him involved the Super Bowl halftime show, where Jay-Z reportedly resisted, including 50 Cent, until Eminem stepped in and made it clear he wouldn't perform without him. To Yayo, that episode went beyond logistics or business. It felt personal, underscoring the quiet rivalries and unresolved tension that have long shaped the complex dynamic between them.
There was this one part where 50 was talking and he was saying, yeah, when Yayo was locked up, every G-Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him, and he had like Yayo had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, when we was talking about stacks with the Porsche, 50's not going to let you say, get the Porsche. He going to say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there. 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist, than anybody does for their artists, more than Jay-Z.
Over time, reports suggest the alliance between Jay-Z and Diddy began to show cracks, as insiders pointed to growing trust concerns and quiet questions about who would ultimately protect their own interests if circumstances deteriorated. Some voices have gone further, alleging that Jay-Z may have played a behind-the-scenes role in Diddy's downturn, claims publicly raised by Jaguar Wright, but remaining unproven and disputed. Regardless, the situation highlights how rapidly power relationships can shift at the highest levels, where loyalty is often conditional, alliances are fluid, and influence can realign without warning when pressure enters the equation.
He made a statement recently. He said that Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, true. He's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
Know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the.
I mean,
the back
you know,
forth,
it's competition. You got to think, 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What? Was that 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole,
of course,
the whole
50 was
sneaker
50
thing?
was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them, and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You gotta remember, he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came, and people might shit on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, shared a grounded insider perspective on the relationship, explaining that while he observed Jay-Z and Diddy crossing paths, he never viewed them as genuinely close. According to Roger, the connection appeared stronger in Diddy's mind than it did in practice, revealing a disconnect between perception and reality. His account underscores how, at the highest levels, public optics can exaggerate relationships that lack real depth, where proximity is mistaken for loyalty, and appearances often conceal the true nature of behind-the-scenes dynamics.
Says to people, he goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, because black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. He wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
prints money
in this
all day,
world.
and it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for black people in black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for black people.
For them to keep wasting their money, and then for him to keep giving them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine and doesn't realize it's time to unplug.
People close to Diddy's circle have noted that he regularly went out of his way to show support for Jay-Z, often to a degree that wasn't equally returned. Those behind-the-scenes observations point to a noticeable imbalance in their dynamic, illustrating how loyalty at elite levels can sometimes flow in only one direction, despite public perceptions of mutual alignment.
Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D-Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D-Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
From this viewpoint, Jay-Z and Diddy were never bound by the deep loyalty the public imagined despite shared success, influence, and overlapping circles. The foundation was always thin. What looked like unity was more alignment of opportunity than genuine trust, and over time, those fractures became harder to ignore. Now, as events play out in full view, those unresolved gaps are being exposed under pressure, raising a larger question about whether the divide will continue to expand and ultimately reshape how both figures are viewed. Let us know your thoughts below.